Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to the SEMA Collision Repair and Refinish stage. My name is Bud Center. I'm the Director of Technical Products and Curriculum for iCar, and with me we have Mr. Chuck Olson from AirPro Diagnostics. Welcome, Chuck.
Yep, thank you, Bud. Thanks for having me, and kind of looking forward to going over a couple of things that are they are ADAS related, but not specifically ADAS, but a lot of things that we have to deal with in the shop in relation to tools to make sure that we can get the job done, and how those things have evolved.
Right.
So and the most important thing, and I've been telling this a lot of people, a lot of different presentations. The only thing that remains the same is constant change.
That's absolutely correct.
So you get in this industry, lifetime of learning. Just count on it. That's
Right,
the way it is.
right. So let's jump into a little bit. Let's talk about remote diagnostics. So I know that AirPro obviously are experts in that field, but this is something that's becoming more and more popular in the automotive repair industry, and let's just talk about that for a minute.
Yeah. So remote diagnostics is a reality. It's been recognized by multiple OEMs since its inception. And so there's three different methods. So there's the directly connected tool, and with advances in technology, that makes that a very good approach to remote diagnostics. So the tool, the software, everything's on the vehicle, and you have an expert on that particular vehicle or that particular model line that's going to log into the vehicle and control that tool and
Right.
walk the technician through on site.
So in a situation where you're dealing with a manufacturer that is accepted this technology, things like that, it really saves the shop a lot of expense, right? They don't have to go out and invest in so many of the tools and things to do this. You guys can they can essentially have a one-stop shop with you guys.
Yes, yeah, and that absolutely does work. So there is still expense. So you got to properly license the software, those types of things. But we make it very easy on the shop, so that the shop doesn't have to manage those things. Because just managing those things by themselves can be a whole other job with the different OEMs, especially when you have multiple lines of vehicles.
For sure.
So there's other methods that are available as well that can be effective, and each one has some unique advantages, and with cost and with efficiency. So the second method on the remote diagnostics, kind of what is the remote connected tool, and the technician are both remote via the internet. So with the directly connected tool, just the technician piece is remote. So software, everything right there resident at the vehicle. With the remote tool, you could have a tool that is hosted in the cloud, a tool that is hosted in a rack, and you're using an interface on the vehicle to transfer that information back and forth to that scan tool application.
Right.
And that has grown, and with some of the uptrends in technology and connection speeds and those kind of things. There are some challenges doing that, but there's also been some solutions doing that as well. But a majority of the OEMs, the tools are designed to be directly connected to the tool, and so that method is there as well. And then the next method is telematics, and telematics by itself isn't really remote diagnostics, although there's some diagnostic elements that are available in the telematics for, it's like random checks, tire pressure monitors, those types of things. But, what we're doing with collision, when a vehicle needs to have a full assessment, your telematics isn't going to give you that depth.
Right.
So one of the other methods of remote diagnostics can be really helpful for a shop.
Okay, that makes sense. So let's jump into the next topic here. So when shops are looking at the different tools and things that they need, when they're, it's just like anything else. They need to analyze their business, understand what their needs are, and then what are some of the things that they really need to consider before making any kind of investment in scan tools and the technology that they use.
So, and there's several good points, and that's a really good question. So, number one is, of course, your work mix. What is it you're working on? What do you specialize on? So, when you're looking for a solution, buying a solution, make sure that it's a good fit for your work mix. And even with our clients, I have access to all the different setups, but there is unique mixtures of software applications for, Toyota, for instance, and your Asian brands and your Hondas, that you can put those packages on that focus on those vehicles that are most of your work mix. If you're heavy and European, those things are going to have to be taken into consideration. And again, that's, with the differences with the remote tool, there's some different approaches. With the directly connected tool, there's a couple of approaches that need to be taken care of there.
Okay. So I know with you guys in your tool, we have one of them in our tech center. We've been fortunate enough to work with your staff on some of these things. I think one of the things that to me was a big help and would be a big help with the shops is it's more than just connecting a scan tool and somebody on the other end pushes a button and does the scan for you. After they've done the scan, they actually help you understand what do the results mean and what are you seeing in that scan.
Yes, yeah, and I'm glad that you brought that up. Well, and some of that happened again, with the evolution of scan tools, what scan tools are capable of. But there is a misconception that, doing the basic, doing the screening for codes and looking at the codes is going to tell you everything that you need to know. So and with us and with our company, our technicians, we go and we open up those data streams. We look at the steering angle sensor. We look at the seat weight in comparison to the condition of the vehicle, because you can have a lot of faults, data faults, that it didn't set a DTC or indicates a problem or something that needs to be addressed, and conveying all that to the person at the shop that may not understand what those data streams mean and those values necessarily mean.
Right.
And we can give that information in a well written out inspection plan for the shop to catch them at the very beginning of the repair.
Right. Because I guess the point I was making there is that we're not talking about customer service people on the other end of this. These are highly trained technicians that have spent probably the majority of their career in a shop doing these type of repairs. They're highly trained, highly skilled.
Yes, and with these tools, and we are seeing an influx of younger guys coming in that concentrate and learn specifically on diagnostics. So with the tools and the tools that are available today and the way the training's put together, and with their being so familiar with the computer age and how the computers work with some of the younger generation, that's also turning into quite a good fix. But again, you're absolutely right. They're technically focused on getting the right information to fix that vehicle.
Right. So now let's talk about one of the latest topics that you're hearing everywhere, and it's secure gateways. We have a lot. Oh, did I get ahead of you?
No,
sorry.
no, that's fine. It's I'm gonna go forward there.
2534 facts. At this point, I'm guessing that most people have a pretty good idea what the J2534.
Yeah,
is
and
all about
I
and how it
just
works.
I point out a couple examples. I'll keep this brief. J2534's been around for a long time. It's a standard from SAE. There are a lot of things that are growing on the vehicle, and that does lead into the security of the vehicle. So with the secure gateway modules, and we have several different companies that require access to the secure gateway module if you're going to perform a calibration. This is really where the relevance comes in to ADAS, but it's not just ADAS calibrations. We're talking steering angle sensor calibrations or zero resets, seat sensors, lift gates, and of course all the ADAS calibrations, the difference where it's a front radar, a rear blind spot, a forward-facing camera. And then there's also output bidirectional controls to where you test things. And then if a module is replaced, it needs programming. So all of these events, Secure Gateway started in about 2018, but they're becoming much more prevalent. And if you can't get through the Secure Gateway with the tool that you're using, you can't perform any of those functions.
Right.
And it's for security. It's to keep the people in the vehicle safe. So if a player or somebody, a hacker of some sort, is able to gain access to the vehicle while it's being driven, that actually prevents anybody from doing anything nefarious to that vehicle, like applying brakes or commanding an output control or anything at all of that vehicle. And that's the main purpose of the secure gateway. However, it's been our job in the shop. It's given us another challenge.
Right. Well, I know that we've both seen the videos and we've seen when they bring the hackers in and show what could be done if they didn't have these secure gateways, and it's pretty alarming. because
Yeah.
you can actually watch these hackers, and they'll have videos going to show you what could happen, and a hacker will access a vehicle and literally do what you said. They'll be driving down the highway, they'll apply brakes, they'll
Right.
shut the vehicle off.
Yeah.
It's just crazy things that they can do. So this is important.
Yeah, there's anti-theft features to do those, but it has to be the right person that gets into it. Now, granted, we're fortunate the people that have done these displays are the white hat hackers, the guys that showed us the vulnerability.
Right.
So fortunately, we haven't had any of these issues take place in the wild, and I think getting ahead of it, putting the secure gateway module in place is going to give a lot of people a lot more comfort instead of, could this happen? Could this maybe happen to me? That OEMs and the designs of the vehicles are preventing that.
Yeah, for sure.
So with that, I'd like to go over a few different methods of secure gateway modules. So there is one method, and this one's ran by AutoAuth, and it's an authentication solution that uses a server. I don't have a diagram of this. You can go to this website at eTools, FCA Secure Gateway Modules, to get some more information of what it is and how it works. But the tool needs to be registered, properly licensed. It's an authenticated tool with a tool identification that connects to the server from the OEM for an authentication process. And then they send back a certificate, sends that message to the vehicle, and unlocks a secure gateway for that session. Once you exit the vehicle, you can't get back in through that secure gateway until you begin another session with an authentication. And that's one effective way to address that. So in this solution consists of two systems: the user management system, and that's where you register your tool, and then the secure authentication bridge server. That provides the ability for the independent aftermarket and their tools to get access to those. So it's important not to lock the aftermarket out of this process.
Okay. So is there anything, and I know we're getting close to where we're starting to run out of time here, so I want to leave you plenty of time to cover the things you've got here, but what does a technician need to understand? Is there any special requirements for a technician getting themselves registered to be able to get into these types of systems?
So at this point, and with the one right now, it's with Stellantis vehicles or FCA vehicles with the AutoAuth application. Your tool needs to be registered. There's an annual fee, and then you register the technician. So that's how that works. And then the tool that you purchase, as part of doing the homework on the tool, you need to make sure that tool is an authenticated tool or an approved tool, that they've licensed the information properly and has the capability of doing that. And most of the major aftermarket tools have been through that process.
Okay, great.
So there'll be more coming. So the other method doesn't really require this connection to the bridge server, and it's actually a little bit simpler, but it's very effective. And this is the state of the vehicle secure gateway access. So that requires a specific state before the secure gateway is going to let you through. So, and these are going to be things like the hood latch has to be open. So that prevents somebody who's going to be driving down the road with their hood open.
Right.
So, and that's a simple approach to it. And different manufacturers have different variations of some of these inputs. Vehicle must be in park. The vehicle is not running, or what we call key on, engine off. If it's an electric vehicle, of course, it would be, ready drive in some of those. So and then the steering wheel straight ahead, parking brake set, and then of course the battery voltage has to be sufficient. So if those states aren't met, and we saw some of these early on, we had technicians, my tool isn't working, why can't we get these things done? It's like, they got the engine running, it's got a secure gateway module. So understanding those things and these capabilities with different manufacturers, they didn't come out all at once, so you can't say 2018 and newer, I have to do this. So it's kind of been a phased process as new models are released.
Okay.
Oh, let me go back
All
just
right.
one. Where's the backspace? Well, it's some of the main things that are coming up now are more secure gateway modules. See that? There we go. Yeah, so the OEM scan tool applications and or the dealer tools, a lot of these aren't going through. Most of them are going to be state of the vehicle, and they've already got the authentication program built into their OEM application. So if you're using an OEM application, they're already registered by the OEM, so they're not going to be going through that registration process that I described
Okay.
with the other one. And that's the bridge server method. But many of them, some of the other ones will be tied to your username credentials when you log into the software application.
Okay.
So what we can count on, more secure gateway modules are going to be coming. We're going to say we've already seen some over-the-air programming, mostly for entertainment systems, but that's expected to grow. We're expecting more telematics, vehicle-to-vehicle, vehicle-to-infrastructure communications, and electrification. You guys have had a lot of stuff on electrification, and kudos for you guys as much as you've really been addressing that so that the industry's ready for it.
Yeah, we all know that the technology is here to stay. It's going to continue to come full steam ahead, and everybody needs to be ready for it. So.
Yep, and again, the only thing that remains the same is continuous change.
That's right, continuous change. Well, Chuck, thanks for joining us here today.
Yep, thank you very much.
I appreciate you taking the time, and we'll look forward to talking to you soon.
All right, have a good one, bud.
Take care.